Hey everybody, I'd like to welcome you back to another show on BizWestMichigan, and I'm really excited today. I've got one of my new friends, if you will. We've got Jeff Gendron from URAWAKE, and URAWAKE is a screen-printed apparel company. He does kind of socially conscious and personally conscious messages on his apparel. Company was started in June of 2011, so I typically don't talk with startups on the show. But with Jeff, you know what, he's made it past the 1 year point. He's doing a lot of really good things and treating his business smartly, so I wanted to get him on here. He is also currently going to be starting as a channel manager with Comlink. We're going to learn a little bit about that. And he is a GVSU guy, and he lives in Easttown. So rather than make him squirm next to me on the camera here, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. So Jeff, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Rob. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. So you and I met at Reb Roberts' Big Bang Art Fair that was in Mangiamo's a few weeks ago, and that was a little bit of a different interview. So I thought when you and I were talking, you were doing some really cool stuff, and I wanted to get you on the show. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with us.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
So why don't you tell everybody here a little bit about URAWAKE, kind of the name, because it sounds kind of interesting, and if you look at it, it says "You Are Awake," but why don't you tell us kind of where the name came from and what you guys are doing?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you asked me because a lot of people ask me about the name. Basically, it's a play on words. URAWAKE is, you are awake, and that's kind of like the foundation for the company. How we got started was I'm a self-taught artist, and art's been a big part of my life. So I'm also a huge T-shirt fan, and I like to wear artistic type T-shirts, and so driving down the road one day over a year ago, and I'm like, wow, I could really do this. And so from there, it just kind of, the dam burst, and I came up with some of the branding language. And then really, I hate to admit it, I'd like to be more creative, but when I was searching for the URL for the website, something that popped up, and I'm like, whoa, that's really awesome. So we grabbed onto that, and that's really, it just had legs of its own as far as the name, and it really stirs a lot of conversation with folks.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that about the domain. I was in a conversation with a couple of my branding buddies, and the whole concept with companies getting branded now simply because the URL is available is becoming more and more prevalent. So yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah. In fact, I lost a contest at my old job. We were trying to rename a division of a company, and they really liked my name, but because the domain wasn't available, I had to lose the competition. So
Bummer. Yeah, and I'm actually going through that right now on a couple of other projects that I'm working on, where it's, that's a really cool name, and it's really relevant, and it's really not available.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, mine was just weird enough to sneak through, I guess.
Well, you know what? It's I like the name, and you and I, like I said, you and I chatted, and you did an interview for us with Reb. But why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of the messaging behind what you're trying to do?
Well, I think it's a socially conscious type message, but I really think the tagline for the company is changing perceptions one encounter at a time, one shirt at a time. And, there's so many T-shirts out there, and I think I can say this from an educated viewpoint because I buy enough of them, but there's a lot of, shirts that say a lot about me as the wearer. All of my shirts are directed at you who is reading the shirt, reminding you that, I think there's probably a lot of people these days with the economy being the way it is and the world being the way it is, they may feel like they're subject to the world, and I want to remind them that they also have some power. And so some personal empowerment's part of the message too. An example would be, the "You Are Greater Than Oil" shirt.
Right, the bike shirt.
It's got an image of the bike on the front, and basically it's just saying, you are greater than oil. You're not subject to oil prices because if it's possible, you can ride a bike.
Right.
And, that's one of them. There's 3 shirts currently out right now. There's a Buddha shirt that's "You Are Greater Than You Think," which I think everybody deserves to hear that message at least once a day. And "You Are Greater Than CO2," which is a tree image. Again, personal choice, personal empowerment. If you can worry about global warming, you can worry about rising CO2 levels, or you can plant a tree. So
absolutely, and that's what you and I talked about when I met you at the event. I've got the bike shirt, and I have to tell you, I've worn the shirt out, and I'm a T-shirt guy. I mean, I've got hockey T-shirts and crazy T-shirts, and my kids bought me, one of the Charlie the Unicorn T-shirts, which is really awkward. But I've worn the "You Are Greater Than Oil" shirt out in public, and I've had more people comment on it because of what you did with it, and the thing that I think is brilliant from a branding perspective and just the design perspective. And if there's a link down below to Jeff's site. You got to check it out for URAWAKE.com. But you've got to see the image of the bike, because there's a smiley face on the head tube, and it's just it absolutely everything about it just draws your eyes right into that, and then it's got the slogan on the back, and people just love the shirt. It's just a cool design. So nicely done.
Thank you, man. I've had, that smiley face was an afterthought. It was one of those things that I did, and then why did I just do that? Because it's in ink, and now I have to do the fact of erasing it. But it stayed on there, and so many people like that. So again, I'll take the credit, but it was something I did as an afterthought.
It was a happy accident, is what I call it.
It was a happy accident. That's exactly right.
That's funny. So you're doing the shirts, you're doing the bags, you're looking at doing some hats. You're supporting local business too. I mean, you've got a local screen printer that you're working with. You're doing the designs, they're doing the printing. Why don't you tell me how that's working for you? Well,
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I really am making this about local. This is an act of passion, right? And I've been really wanting to make it so as such. The reality is I probably could go somewhere out of town and get a little bit better buy rate, but I happen to really enjoy working with my printer. It's Erwin Erkfitz, EcoPress here locally. In fact, he just moved his studio over to Tanglefoot. But he's super talented, and I just like working with the guy, and he's local, and I can't tell you how many times I get asked that. I get asked that question when I'm at shows, when I'm at events, and I'm selling the shirts, are these printed locally? And it feels good to be able to say yes. There's nothing wrong, obviously, with people from out of state trying to get business. Of course, it's the United States, but I think I sense in Grand Rapids, Michigan, a real pride in working locally, and it's going to stay local. You heard it here first. I mean, we're going to keep it local.
Good. That's awesome, and that's really what BizWestMichigan's all about. I mean, the cool thing is that the business community here really does embrace it whenever they can. At least that's what I've seen. And you talk to more people, and you've got some really cool restaurants that are really truly staying local now. I mean, you've got everything from White Trillium and a couple of the other ones that are farm to table, which is about as local as you can get. You've got locations and facilities like Graham and builders like Bazzani, where it's all about the LEED certified, getting materials as close to home as you possibly can. You got Local First, which is really promoting it. You've got, we had the Bali conference here in Grand Rapids, which was a big deal, but that's all about, business and local living economies. I mean, that's what the whole thing's about. And if we all focus on that, and local, in my opinion, there's two levels of local. Obviously, there's the local within the state, within West Michigan, if you can, but really just if you can keep it within the U.S. and keep it from offshore. There's places for offshore. I don't misinterpret my statement there. But for stuff like this, when you have personal discretionary income, and as much as I would say that people should have to have one of your shirts, your T-shirt's a discretionary income item.
Sure.
And if we can keep that business local, then we've got really cool guys like you that can start a business and put money back in, because you're a consumer, you're a business, you're doing all the things that you should be doing. So nicely done.
Thank you, man.
I'm just going to compliment you all the way through, because I just think you're doing cool stuff.
I'm going to let you, so thanks.
So you got to do the Easttown Street Fair, and you had something really cool happen at the street fair.
Yeah, it was
other than selling stuff. But what was the thing that you realized after the street fair?
Well, I thought I told you yesterday I wasn't being glib. I really had a panic attack when I did the inventory, and I thought I got robbed. I literally pulled out a white shirt, the men's style, and I had this moment of panic, because I'm going to be at another event this Saturday in conjunction with Art Prize at Mosaic Space.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And Erwin, he's involved in Art Prize, so I'm like, man, my printer, he's super busy right now. So I just called him. I said, listen, here's my situation, and can we work it out? And he's printing right now, so all the credit to him right now. I do get to do the fun stuff. I get to smile and share the shirts with everybody and do all the drawings and everything. He gets to do the hard stuff, because he's always got a deadline. But yeah, so it was a great event at Easttown Street Fair. I knew it was going to be a strong event. I tried to prepare as best I could inventory-wise, and I had just enough. I think I had 2 shirts left from the bikes. And so yeah, that was a big eye opener today.
So when you did that, what did you also realize after the event, and you counted up the greenbacks? Well, what happened at the fair?
Yeah, that's when I realized that I had made all the money I've invested into the company. I made it all back. So
that is awesome.
Investment is back as of that event, and that was a very exciting moment for me. And
within a year, I got to give you credit to be able to, start it, go through all the startup costs, get all your inventory costs, get everything set up, your distribution, you're starting to get your distribution set up, to be able to say that you've paid off your investment in a year. That's remarkable. Way to go.
It's definitely been an eye opener for me, and it's been a tremendous amount of fun. It's never not been fun, even when I've been up late wrapping shirts, getting ready for a show or whatever. And even this next show coming up, it's a different configuration of my booth, so I got to build some stuff. Even that's been fun.
Right.
So, but you're right, to have the initial investment done, if I hate to say it this way, but if nothing else happens, that's been a real big victory for us, and so I get to keep making shirts, which is what I want to do. So.
Exactly. And like you and I chatted, and just so everybody knows, we were supposed to do the interview yesterday, and if you've been watching the show since it started, technical issues when you're dealing with this kind of stuff are fairly consistent. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect science yet. There's still a lot of art involved in getting the show put together. I had software issues, and Jeff was kind enough to circle back around and do the interview a second day. So, but in talking with that, you've made it past the 1 year point, which is a big deal. You've gotten your investment back. That's a big deal. And now you get to take the money that you had tied up there, and you can hopefully put it into coming up with new products and new designs. And you and I chatted. I'm trying to if anybody watching the show knows of some outlets that can carry the product, where Jeff can be a part of that would be awesome. And I'm doing that for him as well. So I'm trying to introduce him to a couple of new places that can promote his product and support the local economy. So.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we are carried locally in the Easttown area by Spirit Dreams, and Jay at Spirit Dreams has been a huge support to me. And so, I do give regional exclusivity to my retailers. Right. So I'm trying not to just blast the area, but I am looking for new retailers for the product, and I like to take care of those people, as far as wrapping a regional exclusivity around them too. So definitely talk about that.
And the event opportunity as well. I mean, to be able to do any kind of special events or that kind of stuff is a great way to engage with you as well.
Yeah, the events have been great fun. I mean, the event you and I met at, Rob, was an amazing event. Reb and Tom get all the credit. They really put together something fun. And, hanging out in Mangiamo's on the lawn in the shade for 2 days and having people come talk to you, that was a great, great, great time.
That was fun. And that's where I got to really got to meet Reb, and then I went out and he told me about Art Walk in Grand Haven, and I went out and did 3 interviews there talking about Art Walk and kind of what they were doing, and meeting Steve Loftus. I mean, he's really funny. He's amazing, and just kind of learning what they're doing out there. I mean, what Dana's doing with the Downtown Alliance. There's cool stuff going on in West Michigan overall, and everybody likes to think that the group or the location that they're involved with is cooler than other places. We just know that ours really is. So. Yeah,
that's right. It's just an inner knowing, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, between Art Prize and the bike events and the cycling races that Bissell brought into town, and just, I mean, if you look at the calendar of what's going on, and kudos to Experience Grand Rapids. I mean, the visitors convention group that's now Experience Grand Rapids, they're doing a great job of bringing stuff in, which is again supporting all the local stuff and businesses and all that stuff. So. All right, well, why don't we learn a little bit about, we're going to give a shameless plug here to Comlink. Why don't you tell us about what you're going to be doing there and a little bit about their company?
Yeah, well, Comlink's an interesting company. I mean, I don't think a company like this emerges that often. We've got I should back up. I'm also, my day job is in the technology field, and a WAN architect, wide area network architect, and internet architect. So my day job is at Comlink, and I am what is known as a channel manager. I oversee building internet solutions and WAN connectivity solutions for customers in the IT industry. And I've been doing that for 15 years. I love it, and we've got some exciting things coming up with Comlink where we're emerging into the retail market, and I'm part of that team that's helping them go from a wholesale type standpoint to more of a retail customer facing standpoint. So I'm one of the faces of that, and very
Uh-oh.
move forward. Yeah, exactly. Better shit. But no, it's going to be a real exciting time for us coming up here in the next year, and I wouldn't doubt that a lot of people have not heard of Comlink yet. It's more on the east side of the state, but it's moving in this direction, and I think we've got some very innovative products coming out that's going to help the market.
Outstanding. Well, we want to say thank you to them for, having you on their team and helping URAWAKE stay, viable, because you've got the day job and you've got all that fun stuff. So
that's exactly right.
So why don't we talk? We're gonna go back to URAWAKE. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced and that you're still facing on a regular basis? I mean, what are some of the blocks that you've got in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest block is more of a perceived block for me personally. It's how fast do I grow? How much do I, and my motto has always been, keep it very organic, I guess is the best way to do it, and try to grow it at the pace it wants to grow at.
Right.
So when it's a very real thing that when I run out of shirts, if I'm not careful and I run out, if I take my eye off that ball, then I could be in real trouble, and I don't ever want to tell someone I'm out of stock. So I think most businesses are the same way. As I'm learning how to just have enough in stock to where I don't have a lot of capital thrown out there, because obviously you don't want to be lugging around the same shirts for 6 months that aren't selling, as far as because it's an unpopular size or maybe a style. But so that's probably been my biggest learning curve, has been in that, making sure that I'm buying smart. And I have to honestly give a lot of credit to Erwin for that, because he's got a lot of experience in that. So if I throw him an order that, because I can be kind of a Pollyanna, right? I'll throw this huge order out, and he goes, maybe change it a little bit. Let's make this a little bit more real. So I kind of pay attention to what he says. So.
Wow, good. That's awesome. It's great to have a mentor like that you can really lean on. That's kind of an unfair advantage, because a lot of people just don't have those.
Well, I mean, I think if you're going to do anything like this, I knew that I really wanted to draw shirts, but I also went into it with what we call in Buddhism a beginner's mind, saying that I know nothing about doing this other than I can buy a tent and sell shirts, but I don't really know the rest of the business. So I kind of treat it like an adventure, and I did, like you said, mentor. I have no problem bringing on a mentor. And Erwin's been fantastic. And I've got, Mark Daniels, who runs intellectual design. He's also been a huge mentor to me on this, too.
That's awesome. So, if you could say one thing that really kind of helped launch the idea or get you started or whatever, I mean, if one kind of defining moment that was a positive thing, could you share that with us?
Sure. That one's actually easy, and I think I mentioned it before. It's passion. And it was the point at which I realized that if I don't do it, if I constantly set that passion aside because the timing may not be right, or what if it doesn't sell, I think this is the first time I ever went into something saying, I don't care if not a single shirt sells, I want to do it. And that passion goes along every time I receive a shirt order. The fact that I have this box of shirts, I've produced something, has been exciting enough for me. And so that's it. I mean, passion is that word, and I've just decided that I'm just going for it no matter what. So, and here I sit. So.
Awesome. Well, the thing that I'll add to that is not only did you have passion about it, there are a lot of people that are very passionate about a lot of things, but you also executed on it. And I think that's one of the things that kind of separates, entrepreneurs from, everybody else, is you're not a guy that's living on someday isle. I mean, you actually, swam out and took ownership of the island. So, kudos on that. So, okay, so here's the hook question. I ask everybody that's on the show, looking back, either for URAWAKE or for, in your career, but hopefully for URAWAKE, in the 1 year that it's been around, if you could go back and change one thing or one really big mistake that if you wish you could take it back, what would it be?
It's a tough question, because I don't have a lot of regrets right now in regards to URAWAKE. I would probably say the only thing would be, but again, I'm kind of a Taoist, so I always think it happens at the time it's supposed to, but knowing with how fun it has been so far, I wish I would have done it earlier. I wish I would have executed on the passion earlier. And I think probably if there was a mistake, there's probably been some there's probably been some misjudgments about what sizes they're selling. So there's probably some shirts the sizes they're going to have a longer sales cycle, but I don't sweat that small stuff right now. That's a learning curve thing. So is that a fair answer to your question?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, the whole concept of wishing you had done it sooner, or it goes back to just execution. And I talk with people every day, whether it's with with my day job with Superior and the groups with that, or the other people that I meet and the clients that I've got outside of that. There's a lot of people that just I jokingly call it, they live on someday I'll, because they always say someday I'll do this, and they didn't do it. So you saying you wish you had done it sooner, that's an overcoming fear issue. And we all have it. I mean, I've had the idea for this show for 4 years. Fortunately, I found the technology that let me do it, because I was having panic attacks, and that I really wanted to do it. I wanted to focus on it, and up until I found a way to do it this way, I was looking at having to go out there with the camera and sit in front of it, and that's really hard. This way, I found it, and we executed on it, and I'm having a great time with it. It's really fun. I wouldn't have gotten to meet you, quite frankly, if I hadn't taken the initiative to do it, and I wouldn't have gotten to meet Reb and Mike Gendron and Kevin Butelman, and I mean, it's just it's a amazing group of people that I probably wouldn't have been able to interact with. And same with you with your customers. I mean, if you hadn't pulled the trigger and done it, you wouldn't have gotten to do and meet all these really cool people that if nothing else, you get to do it when you're in business, and you get to meet some people that are fun and exciting and passionate, and you also get to see the other side as well, that's a whole other story. We'll save that for another episode.
I think you're right, and I'll thank you right now for hunting me down on that day, so we did get a chance to meet, because it's been a great time for me, and this has been a lot of fun. But yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think it's a matter of when you do overcome that fear and get off the someday island, like you said. A lot of doors open. A lot of doors have opened for me that has been unexpected, and now it gets kind of, once you've done it one time, doing it again and just executing becomes a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Myself and other areas of my life saying, you know what, hesitation done. I'm done with waiting, and it's worked out rather well. So.
Well, it's amazing how many serendipitous events happen when you take action. I always jokingly call it kind of the new car syndrome, where that you see a new car and you think it's absolutely beautiful, and you hadn't really noticed it before, and then you buy it, and then you're driving around and you're like, oh, there's one. So it's the serendipitous findings that you have when you pull the trigger and you take action and you execute. All of a sudden, things just kind of start happening in other areas, and it's all, I think it's all related, but maybe that's just me.
It absolutely is related. I mean, Jung called it synchronicity, and it is true. I mean, when you set things in motion, other motion happens, right? So.
Yep, absolutely. And inertia has a great way of keeping us in places that we'd like to get out of. So.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to announce that we are going to have a contest. Check out the information on the contest below. Jeff has graciously given us access to a shirt, so you can go to his site, pick out the shirt that you want. So if we notify you that you won the contest, but you got to read the rules for the contest and the information. So if you like this interview and you're having fun with the show, let us know, and we're going to get your name into a contest, and you could win one of the really cool shirts. So. Again, Jeff, I've really enjoyed talking with you. I've enjoyed kind of introducing you to people that I know that can help your business.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're welcome. And like I said, keep up the good work. I'm glad that you're making money and your business is debt free and all that fun stuff. So again, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks a lot, Robert. Do appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you guys very soon, and stay tuned. We've got some more really fun interviews coming up. We'll talk with everybody soon. Thanks.